SpaceX expected to begin trading at the end of the week. Leslie Picker is here with a look at how investors might be positioning ahead of that event. Maybe that's what we've seen a little bit, Leslie, in this market.
Yeah, I think it's more than just a coincidence here, Scott. SpaceX is targeting about 30% of its $75 billion offering to go to retail investors. And that cohort may be behind some of the recent volatility in the equity markets that we've seen, as that cohort sells recent winners to free up cash. Now, recently, retail investors have been chasing the upside momentum in semiconductors, in hardware, in AI power names. Micron alone has seen $6.5 billion in net retail flows in the last month, helping drive that stock's 87% upside. Now, at the same time, you've got these U.S. equity levered ETF assets, which have reached an all-time high of more than $175 billion, concentrated largely in the NASDAQ 100, as well as semiconductors. BNP Paribas believes it's not a coincidence that the NASDAQ's worst day in over a year, last Friday, came a week before the biggest IPO of all time, and it may continue. The firm says, quote, selling flows in recent winners and levered products from retail to invest in SpaceX could be very large, according to BNP Paribas. The firm hypothesizes that retail plus passive flows into the IPO could be about $50 billion. If retail sells out of levered ETFs, that can create even more disproportionate pressure ahead of the IPO, just given the magnitude of leverage involved in those products, Scott.
Okay, Leslie, thanks. That's a good look at that. You agree? Is that some of what we've seen in the NASDAQ late last week?
Oh, yeah. I think I don't know percent-wise, but I mean,
it's played a role.
That definitely has played a role. And I think it caused some investors to be like, okay, maybe sell some of their, massive winners, in terms of what's going to happen with SpaceX. But I do not believe this is sucking oxygen out of this market. It's a near-term blip, and I think that's what we're seeing today in terms of the rebound.
Alex, how do you think about this IPO as it's about to come to market, how you think it may perform on Friday, which is going to be a really exciting day?
Yeah, I think the valuation is definitely out of sync with reality. It's way too high, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for SpaceX. I think when you look at the hunger from retail to get into anything with momentum, joining Elon Musk's rocket company is about as good as it gets. So I expect them to have a very successful day on Friday, and I think that this stock is going to have a big pop at the very beginning.
Bryn, how are you thinking about it? Going to buy some?
Well, we already own it in quite a few funds, but I thought it was interesting. I saw over the weekend, Ron Barron, he's taking down $1 billion at IPO price to go into his funds. So, the long-term investors continue to stay in. I agree with Alex. I mean, on every metric, the valuation is insane. It will IPO like 30% more than Meta's valuation. And so that being said, there's a lot of excitement. It'll be historical. I do think between Google's raise of $85 billion, now this, if Meta does the same, we'll see. I mean, this is historical to have all of this happening at once, what type of indigestion. But I definitely think part of Friday, and also with crypto, is definitely people saying, I don't have to make it back the same way I lost it. I want to make some room for SpaceX and try to make some of that money back in this stock. So it will definitely be historic. It probably goes 2 to 2.5 trillion, which is insane on Friday.
Yeah, it'll be exciting, as I said. We really can't wait just for the spectacle of the biggest IPO we've ever seen to hit the market, especially as we have some questions about parts of the tech trade, how it's received, some of the mechanics of positioning ahead of that, and then all of it to see how it plays out on that Friday.